All right, Chael, here at Team Quest, made it through your first practice since the fight, right?
Yep. First one back. Low intensity, but I survived the day, which mentally is the first step. But usually when you take a little time off, you just mentally got to get through a workout, and then you start to get back in the groove.
Physically, how do you feel right now?
Physically, okay. Not great. I just got some stitches out of my forehead, a couple stitches in my nose, and I had a few in the very top of my head and my hair. So physically, okay. I'm not 100%. I was in a really hard match a couple weeks ago and got roughed up pretty good by a gentleman named Marquardt from Colorado. So anyway, I'm recovering, but I've been pretty sore.
Yeah. What's it like mentally getting back in here after taking some time off? You said making through it mentally, is the key initially.
Yeah, sure. When I was younger, when I was a kid, I could take a whole summer off, take 10 weeks off, go back to wrestling, and really never miss a beat. And now as an adult, if I miss 4 or 5 days, it feels like I've really got to start over from scratch. And in this case, I missed over a week. I mean, a full week, not just a 5-day week. I missed over 7 days. So it's amazing how quick your timing gets off and your balance gets off and your eyes get off on where the target is. At the same time, it comes back very quick, too.
I was just going to say, how quickly will it,
I'll have it. Today's Tuesday. I should be, by next Monday, just right back in the groove. But it'll take the full week of a couple workouts a day. Even at a low pace, it will come back quick.
Yeah, okay. So you're a wrestler, right? You get your wrestling started in background. And then when and why did you decide to get into MMA?
Well, I decided to get into MMA, or I knew I wanted to, as soon as I saw it, which like in 1993, about UFC 1.
So where were you at that point? You in high school,
junior high? I was in high
high
school. I would have been a sophomore.
Okay.
And I really wanted to get into it. In fact, I went to BYU out of high school, signed there because Mark Schultz was there, and he was really the first wrestler to ever get an MMA. He was never credited with it because he didn't break right into the UFC or something, or even try, but he got really into jiu-jitsu and competitive in it. And at that time, jiu-jitsu was the big deal. Hoist Gracie was beating everybody, and the mixed martial arts didn't really exist. It was just the mixing of the martial arts. Everybody only did one style. So at any rate, he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and that's why I really signed with BYU. They lost their program, and I was back home 4 months later going to the University of Oregon, which was great for me. I loved it there, and I really hope they get their program back.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. So then when did you have your first fight?
First fight, I was still in college. I would go to wrestling practice every day, and after practice I would go across town. There was a kickboxing gym, and I would do kickboxing twice a week.
Okay.
And so I did that for a few years, and I had my first fight in 1999 and won, and it was a exhausting experience. I didn't know the mentality for it. I thought you were supposed to get upset or angry or mad at your opponent, so I had like this self-induced rage, which was completely phony. I didn't have the slightest anger, but I induced it myself, and I was so tired 40 seconds into this match from that adrenaline or lactic acid or whatever it is that anger releases in your body, that it was just horrible. The fight was 7 minutes, and I controlled and won every second of every minute. I did a good job there, but I really learned a lesson that, hey, you got to pace yourself and relax. This is a sporting event,
Right.
Calm down and behave more like a professional instead of an amateur.
Right. Then how many fights did it take to where you could kind of control that and you weren't getting as worked up, or you're leaving your emotion a little bit?
I learned my lesson right then and there.
Yeah.
And I never forgot. I went home, I made a mental note of it, I told other people, and by my next fight, I had that one amateur fight and then I went pro. But a several-year gap. That was in 1999. I went pro in 2002, right after college.
Why did you wait?
I was in school.
Because you're competing?
I was still in school,
right.
and wrestling. And frankly, there weren't very many opportunities. Even when I went pro, there was still no opportunities. The UFC was doing 5 shows a year.
Yeah.
There was one other company, it was in Japan. They were doing 4 shows a year.
Yeah.
And if you could get on something small around the country, then good for you. And finally my chance came. Tito Ortiz was promoting a show, and Tito and I were friends from college. same weight class, same conference. He was at Bakersfield, I was at Oregon. So we got to know each other pretty well. He got into the promotion side of it, and I was able to get on with one of his events.